to the Suzette Speaks show. We're back today. It's going to be a little bit different. There's a takeover happening today. Today, we got a man running the Suzette Speaks show. We're going to talk a little bit about everything that happened down in Jamaica. We've seen the videos of her turning up, and then all the people on the Patreon, you know what's going on. Like, she went down there and had a great time. So we're going to talk about her culture, the food, just all like the spiritual awakening that she felt that she had while she was down there in Jamaica. So we're taking over today, though. So today I'm your host. You know, I'm going to do all this interviewing stuff. So if you don't know me, my name is Terrell Key. And let me tell you, I have a lot of experience as an educator, but I think what's going to make me a really cool host today is that I'm a former school counselor. I was a school counselor for 10 years, and I ended up being the Illinois School Counselor of the Year. I travel all over the country now as a principal, training educators and doing things like that. But I think what's really, really cool today, though, is I get to sit back and just talk to people. I have a therapy background. I really just want to get to know what Suzette experienced while she was down there in Jamaica. So I'm taking it over today. So we got the guys show. We got the Suzette Speaks guys edition. So what's going on, Suzette?
I'm excited to be here on the other side of this experience. Thank you for hosting.
No problem. I got you today, man. We got to get to know about what happened down there in Jamaica. So, Suzette, tell us a little bit about like what's your connection to Jamaica. I know some of your followers, some of your subscribers, they might know you, but there might be some people that might not know you. Tell them about your connection to Jamaica.
Well, thank you so much. First of all, y'all give it up to my special guest host today. Go ahead and subscribe. Check him out. I'm acting like I'm the host still, but I'm not the host right now. But I'm appreciative.
I'm going to say it for you. Let me host it for you. So go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'm also a YouTuber. I got a growing channel too. Man, I'm not quite Suzette yet, but we got 3,200 subscribers. We moved up. Almost at 1 year in the game, so I'm still a rookie. It'll be a year on October 10th. But yeah, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I talk about education, life, and all kinds of cool stuff. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. And then we got your people here. I see your people are here.
Definitely. And I want to shout out everybody in the chat. And again, I thank you, my brother, Mr. Terrell Key. Wonderful educator, and check out his channel. He has a lot of issues around education. I'm going to be over there pretty soon talking about whether law school is really worth it. But tonight is the recap. It's the behind the scenes. It's the VACAY Secrets. And I'm really excited that he's here to help me kind of just tell my story. And yes, I am a born Jamaican, raised in South Florida. Big up Miami, big up Fort Lauderdale, big up Palm Beach, South Florida in the building. So left when I was a wee child, a toddler, came up here. And my parents who immigrated legally, if you want to call it that, and came by means of, finding a better life. When they left back in the 80s, it was a tumultuous time. The 70s and 80s in Jamaica was a very tumultuous time in terms of political violence, where political parties were actually tied to street gangs. And it was a time where, even though they were professionals, had a decent life, they could not raise a family, they felt, at that time there with the most opportunity possible. So they decided to immigrate. And so I had the opportunity to come to this beautiful country, the US of A. I became naturalized, I think, right before my teenage years, officially a citizen. Uncle Sam, thank you. And one thing my parents did, which I really enjoyed, is they sent me back to visit with family during the summers. So I had a wonderful connection with my homeland, if you will, land of my birth. I got to stay both in the city and in the countryside. The countryside is very different for anybody who has been to any type of third world country, if we want to call them that still, but any kind of developing country. You have a mixture of the old and the new, right? You have the Beamers and the Bugattis, and then you have the man with the donkey cart right next to them on the same highway. So I always was very much in touch and rooted into who I was, my family history. And I feel like I'm the best of both worlds as a result of it. I have my American aesthetic, where I have embraced fully my African American brothers and sisters, and who have welcomed me into the culture, which I now consider myself a part of, as well as my past, where I am still, I say the best of both worlds, if you will. A little bit of food culture
Mhm.
retention, a little bit of language culture retention, and of course, a big emphasis on education and family. So that's my connection.
Right. So I mean, it has to be interesting. Like, after being here for so long, it's been COVID and all that. So you kind of been, I remember like talking to you yesterday. You kind of been in the house a little bit more. So what does it feel like to finally just to get out the house, get some fresh air, and to travel, go through the airport, go through all of that process, and then
Man.
land back in a place that you were born in? What does that really feel like?
Yeah, we outside. Like this was my first trip during or post, if I don't even know if it's post yet, but post major portion of
Mhm.
the pandemic. I did not travel like many of my friends and colleagues who were up and about hitting the road every weekend because the tickets were so cheap.
Mhm.
Instead, I was much more conservative. I didn't feel it in my spirit, quite frankly, to be out there. So this was my first big trip of post-pandemic, or I should say lesser pandemic life here in the US. So it was amazing. I was out of practice a little bit. I feel like I'm out of practice on YouTube right now, actually. Just being here and the process of even getting lights, camera, action ready to go, it
Mhm.
always felt like second nature. So it was a similar experience when it came to travel and just being in a place and being present. That took me a while to warm up. I kept saying to myself, smell the air, feel the
Mhm.
breeze, feel the sand. What does it smell like? I always remember as a little girl what Kingston smelled like to me. And at that time, Kingston had an open air, large landfill that illegally people burnt at night. So there was always this smoky smell that I equivocated. I can't even think of the word to uh, the smell of Jamaica as a little girl. As soon as I flew into Kingston and smelled that, I'm like, I'm home. Like this is what goes. So I think for me, because I had already kind of lost some of that. Last time I had been to Jamaica was like 2019.
Wow.
So like just the familiarity, it took me a while to pick it back up and to say, oh no, 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 these streets, you know what it looks like. Like even traveling with my uncles and some of my cousins, I was like, this doesn't look familiar to me anymore. They changed, they changed up the roads, they got new landmarks. I knew there was a gas station there and there's no longer a gas station, that kind of thing. But after I kind of shook off the cobwebs, it was really great. It was much more it was peaceful. It was green. Oh my gosh, Jamaica
Mhm.
right now is so lush. It is the saying is that it is the land of wood and water.
Mm.
So I felt very much at home, very much at peace, and I did a lot more touristy things. Usually I'm having to go for a funeral or, wedding or something like this. But this was just about, family first, yes. But there was a lot more reconnection for me to nature and just being.
Yeah, so let's talk about that too, because you said that you kind of disconnected from everything. You really weren't on the phone. You didn't have your laptop out, and we really just kind of just threw this episode together. Like it just really just literally happened, like out of nowhere. Because she was totally disconnected, except for like a few IG posts. So like, what did it feel like to just disconnect from the world? Because right now we're just so plugged in. What did it feel like for you to be gone?
Yeah, it was a crazy feeling. Yes, Kareen say that was the Riverton dome. But yeah, Riverton, they still lighten it up illegally because people get paid to put it out. So they will do, I'm sorry, big
It's
up
okay.
Riverton. But it is yeah, being disconnected was one of the most pleasurable experiences I've had in a long time. I
Mhm.
think because of the pandemic lifestyle of living on Zoom, living on YouTube, living from work on this, on your computer and on your gadgets. Not, and I purposely, I don't think I'm cheap. I purposely did not use my data. I was not roaming because I just didn't want to have to I just wanted to be free. Even
Mhm.
at the hotel and stuff, I turned off my notifications. I definitely only use Wi-Fi where it was available. And shout out to my Patreon. They got some pre-recorded videos, and I still have more videos to post over there that I really want to share. But it was an escape, and it was a peace that I had not had in a long time. Where I didn't even realize I probably was anxious and a lot, and more intense. It's one of those feelings where you ever feel your eyebrow is like furled or your face is made up, and then you didn't even realize you were making up your face. That's kind of, I felt like I got a break from that,
Mhm.
and I feel like during this time I really rested. There were days I stayed in bed till noon.
Wow. Mm,
And like nobody bothered me. I was really, I stayed at a hotel. I stayed with family and as well, but
mm.
it just felt like a complete exhale, a complete, I'm living in the moment and I'm not focused on anyone else. I'm focused on me and just being present.
Right. And like one of the things, like when you're a professional, like you're constantly like busy, like you're always needed, like, and now like you're kind of in a space now down there where the person that needs you is just you. So you're really just taking some time in just to kind of like just engage yourself spiritually. And I know you said that you kind of felt like you learned so much and you had like all of these epiphanies while you were down there. Could you share with the audience, like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I definitely felt, and there's so much I can tell you about the different moments I had. I want to share a few slides, if you don't mind, of some of the places and things I did. And this is called the secrets of vacay. So it'll be a little bit of secrets going
Hmm.
on. And again, shout out to Terrell Key. Go check out his channel. But one of the most beautiful places that I visited was the Blue Hole. And well, let's start here. Okay, I'm sorry, I forgot what I had lined up. Was the beach first? Hold on, let me say the beach first.
Hmm.
So this is me chilling at the hotel, thank God. And it was a lot of family because the first part of my trip was a reunion.
Mm.
So we had all booked, rooms at an all-inclusive in Montego Bay. It was not a great hotel, funny enough. The hotel could have had better service. They were understaffed. And
Hmm.
but with that in mind, in spite of it, we had such a great quality experience because of the actual people. I told cousins who weren't able to go, I was like, yo, it was just a right blend. People who want to hang out with each other anyway, haven't seen each other for 3 or more years, and came with open hearts and open spirits. So that part of it was like the renewal of friendship was
Hmm.
actually a part that really kind of kept me, I don't know, it was feeding my spirit, like the renewal of, I just think of just like-minded spirit.
Hmm.
One thing about my family, I would tell people I would be friends with them even if they weren't my family.
Right.
And not everybody has that luxury. And I realized even in this trip, that's a huge blessing. Everybody ain't perfect now, but most of everybody, even with their idiosyncrasies, you would want to, hang out with them anyway. You would consider them loving, caring, compassionate, and just good-hearted people anyway. So in a world where that doesn't always seem to be the case, and especially in a profession where I meet a lot of people who are not practicing those
Mhm.
values, it was just refreshing in terms of like, God, just remind me that there are good people. Thank you for reminding me that there are people that love me as much as I love them. Thank you for reminding me that, you don't have to always, be on,
Mm.
people that just accept you as you are without, this kind of performative
Right.
element.
Right. It's
So
sort of like you're wearing the mask all the time. Like, like when
yeah, I
you're
feel like I'm always like,
like,
oh,
yeah, or
whoa,
whether
whoa,
you're on
whoa, whoa.
YouTube or whatever,
Yeah,
like you're always on go because you have like this presence,
I
about yourself, and like when you're not in that, especially, like more extroverted people like us, like when we're not on, like everybody notices. So it makes it make for me a lot of times I don't want to go out if I'm not on because I know people are gonna be like, what's wrong with you? You don't want to be around us today?
exactly.
So it has to be, like it has to feel just refreshing. Like now, like you get to walk with people, talk with people, you get to hug people,
Yeah.
instead of just being a box on the computer.
Absolutely. And I think, everybody who is, and I include my YouTube fam, for checking in, and all the people were like, you back? What you doing? I was like, no, I'm still God. Let me get my whole 2 weeks, right?
Hmm.
But thank you, Sun Breeze. Good to see you. And Square Biz, thank you. Yes, the peacefulness of it really. I think this was one of the first times I really enjoyed Jamaica from a tourist mindset, as opposed to, like, again, going there on a mission, going
Right.
there again for an event or some kind of family function. It was just like just being. So yeah, that was refreshing in a sense. Just to be around people and listen to them, listen to their stories, catch up in a genuine way. And people, several of my family members have been through some like real change, divorce, or just had a child, or doing refurbishing houses and things like this. And it was really beautiful just to kind of like sit with them in their whatever was their concern. Like I was free enough to just be like, okay, let me listen to you and give feedback. And again, it was an equal interest in me and where I was in my life and in my walk. And people were just so supportive. And like I said, even in that picture I showed just now, it was game day. The one on the right, we were playing, we do a family game day. I actually should have included, thank you, RM. Good to see you, sis.
Well, tell us about these
Some
games. Tell us
Yeah, I
about.
didn't want y'all to see me run up and down. I didn't include no videos. I think I'm gonna do a part 2 Saturday, but
Yeah.
I would show some videos. I'm definitely gonna show it on my Patreon of me.
Yeah, so you
We had
dancing too. We saw that.
brother and sister tag team. We had all kinds of stuff. Like we do egg and spoon race. We do mini soccer tournaments, 3-on-3. So we have like a colors day. So I was yellow team, red, yellow, green, and I think I forget blue. And we are competitive in family groups, but it's all mixed together. So
Mhm.
you cheer for your colors, and it's similar to how Jamaica has sports days. So in school, that's a very typical thing there, where you have a big, that's why you hear about, these athletes from very young. You call it your house, red house, blue house, green house, and you're competing against other kids your age in your school in color coded teams. So
Mhm.
we kind of mimic that in our own family. Like we're the yellow house and we cheer really loud when somebody from team yellow wins. Their tug of war was big. Oh my gosh, we are very passionate about tug of war and all
Mhm.
that other stuff. But yeah, it was like, again, just the clean fun of being with people who really are just, again, genuinely cheering for you, want to see what's best for you, and really just love you as you are. It was just so refreshing.
Right. So it seems like you have a really big family in order to break into all of these
Yeah,
teams. So how many family members are we talking about? It seems like you have enough for a whole football team down there.
lot of mercy. Well, my grandma, so the story goes, had 20 in total children, but only
Hmm.
10 survive adulthood. But she was one of, I believe, like 12. No, no, no. Grandpa was one of 12. Grandma had, I think, 5 siblings.
Hmm.
So, and then we are connected. Most of the people that I'm calling like cousins are actually second and third, but we moved like first.
Right.
So, within my grandpa's line, usually we are connected by them being like a brother or sister to my grandfather. That's where we start. So we
Hmm.
all have the same great grandfather and same great great grandfather. So most of us is like the sibling of the grandparent.
Right.
So it is deep. It is deep. And then we have some are siblings of the great grandfather and come on different lines that way. So we
Hmm.
have done wonderful, extensive research. Thank God it has been available,
Hmm.
to where we are. Like I said, I know my great great. I know my triple great grandfather's name, and he was a Scotsman,
Wow.
so British Scotsman that time. So came to Jamaica. It's a very interesting story. I was telling people, random people at the beach, my family story, and they were like, and I was actually thinking, I was talking to a white guy from Scotland who I was like, actually, my great great grandfather was.
Right.
He was looking at me like, how do y'all know this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
no. And he's like, it's just amazing that y'all have stayed in contact. But I attribute that to just solid family values, solid, solid, solid values.
Hmm.
People of character, people who try to live good. Our purpose is be close to God, love yourself, and love your neighbor,
Hmm.
and try to live good with people. So as long as those principles are what drives you, and it is like a common shared set of principles, it's amazing uh, what it can withstand in terms of people live in Canada now, people live in Australia now, people live in Holland, people live in Spain, people, we have branches that we go by deep roots, wide branches.
Hmm.
So yeah, we take this thing very serious, and it is maybe this one was a small one, maybe 150 people, but this was small.
That's small. 150. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we even out here like we want to be. So
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. So you landed in Kingston. So I'm guessing you met up with family. No, you didn't land in
landed
Kingston.
in Mobay, left from Kingston.
Okay, I was gonna say because I mean it seems like you were in like the tourist area first, right? And that's like where
Yes,
Montego Bay is at, and
yes.
Kingston is kind of like where the city is, right? And it's like a little bit further down.
Exactly.
So you had to
So,
take a trip down those roads and stuff too.
oh, trust me. And I know you've been to Jamaica, so
Oh
you kind of know for real, for real. I've never driven in Jamaica. Let me just put it out there. They
yeah.
drive on the British side. Most of them are right-hand drive vehicles.
Hmm.
So I'm not used to that. I'm really nervous because Jamaicans notoriously do not follow road
No.
signs, rules, nothing. If they come in, they coming over. If they pass in, they pass in like almost to the next car coming in
Mhm.
oncoming traffic. It is so difficult sometimes to. I think Mobay would probably be the easiest place to learn, but I'm too scared. I don't know if my brain will compute with which way is the left lane when I make a left. Am I going there? Am I going here?
Mhm.
Those kind of things. So I'm very fortunate that my dad rented a car. My cousins took me places, and we took taxis, or I should say hotel shuttles. If we take taxis, you got to know the people, that kind of
Right.
thing, friends of family down there. So yeah, so we Montego Bay will take issue. Folks from there might take issue of saying their country, but they are developed seeing
Yeah.
both sides of the island because it's big in terms of the tourist side, but it
Mhm.
is untouched in many ways. If you go way into the mountains and to the hills where my folks are from, you're gonna see just again almost just wild Jamaica, lots of farms and what we call hills, mountains, and
Mhm.
lush, thick vegetation on both sides. And I have video of that. That again I put on Patreon and I put it on some of my Insta stories. But yeah, that part of the island is much more untouched. And I was telling you that I had gone to a couple places on that north coast, on that strip. I did not go to Rick's Cafe in
Right.
Negril, which is everybody's stopover. And I didn't go to Dunn's River because I've been there too many times. But I big up people who love going to Dunn's River. But
Mhm.
I did go to, for the first time, Blue Hole, which was, oh, don't get mad, which was a wonderful, what should I say, large river that
Mm.
is majority untouched, and it flows through. It's part of Saint Anne, but it flows into Ocho Rios. So it's like Blue Hole. There are two Blue Holes, honestly, in Jamaica. One is in Ochi, and one is more Westmoreland, Negril side. These are the parish names, just like you would say counties or
Mhm.
Miami or wherever, Fort Lauderdale. The county seat of that parish is Ocho Rios. So, but this is the one that is known for, I'm talking about clear, clear, clear blue, several rivers, and they are like waterfalls ish. So this is your girl getting ready. I have my life vest on because they were like, "Can you swim?" I'm like, give me a life vest. Give me a life vest, please. I wasn't playing, trying to still be cute. If you
Mhm.
notice, I have on my sneakers
Right.
because I wore flip flops, and they were like, "Nah, this is like a real river, like rapids." So they were
Mhm.
like, "If you have sneakers in the car," which I just saw, something told me last minute, just throw your sneakers in there in case you hike or something. And thank God I did because I used them in the water. I didn't have water shoes with me. I was like, what was I thinking? I thought I could do slides, but I was thinking little babbling river. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, it was pretty intense. It was definitely, and I shout out to my patrons who got to see me like with my full on like lot of mercy accent crossing the wood and water and wondering what the heck, this is like a real river, and I'm picturing my ancestors and I'm feeling, a little bit like, oh my gosh, like this is serious water. But yeah, it was beautiful. It was much more, like I said, relaxing in places than in places I've been before. Again, new adventure. We had a family group of like 15 with three additional kids, and it was beautiful. We had so-called tour guides, and I'll show you a picture of my tour guides giving me a rub down. Oh, you want to see your girl? You want to see your girl in front of the blue hole? Yes, yes.
Okay.
Trying to get my model on. Trying to get my model on. It was so beautiful. So, but you see the rapids behind me. It
Right.
was no joke. Let me make it big. It wasn't no joke. So you don't want to be yeah, you needed the life vest. And I don't think we jumped off of that one. I jumped off of a smaller one into
Mhm.
the water over the waterfall. But nah, this one was really, really big. And they, because of the speed of the water, honestly, they were like, nope, 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 don't do it. And at the end, oh, your girl was getting a little little extra for the guide. Little extra for the guide. There's like, you're gonna get your massage. And I shout out to DL. Thank you. DL says it's good to see you back in the YouTube trenches. Thank you. Yeah. I was like, okay, not the massage. Okay, sure, I'll take one. And they had two types of clay. One was sulfur, and it's supposed to be really good for your skin. And then this kind of like red earthen clay that they like went somewhere on another side of the river to get. And then they rub your arms, your neck. I thought the man was gonna peel my neck off. It was like my full arms. I feel like I got a good exfoliation down to your feet, under your booty cheek. If I show you some pictures of my cousins, I was like, I can't show these things unless I get permission from people. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was quite an experience. And they were like, that's why my bathing suit looks kind of off color. It was black and white, and it definitely got muddy because all of the red clay dirt like slowly coming down, and then after it sat on you for like a few minutes, then they you bathe in the cold river water again, and then they put pimento oil on you. Oh my gosh. I didn't even want to bathe when I went home. I was like, oh gosh, this got to be healing and doing something for my skin right now. But it was like this whole experience. So we had 3 guides, probably, we are mostly women. So it was like 10 of my cousins got a rub down. Let me say from size about 2 to size about 22. so,
So they were
so
doing some rubbing.
So they was rubbing. They was definitely rubbing. And Jamaican commentary. One thing is that you'll notice about the people is that we just and I say we because I feel like I retain that
Mhm.
that you could almost make conversation about nothing with someone. Just
Mm.
that ability to connect and quickly read somebody and make a
Mhm.
connection. They always are like looking and they're on. So that was one of my favorite moments
Mhm.
and memorable excursions of this 2-week vacay.
Mhm. So, I mean, so you also turned up too, though. Like, I mean, it went all just this spiritual journey. So, can we talk about some of these parties that you were at? Because we saw that you were having a whole lot of
Now
fun too.
hold on, y'all. You want to get to the parties? Let me just tell you one more place before we
Okay,
get to the part.
I'm
Okay,
saying,
no. But
I know
you're
you were
right.
cooking now. Don't try
Shout
to
out
hide
to Miss Shonda Dees. Talking about I want an all inclusive for 5. I wish we got a good rate though because it was our reunion. But yeah, one thing that occurred while I was down there. Yes, Square Biz. Just reading a couple comments. Yes, driving would give you a heart attack. Yes, again, shout out Miss Shonda Denise. Kareem said, I remember sports day. Those memories, big up. Oh, you went to St. Aloysius Primary, big up yourself. So that was a big part of the culture when I was talking about
Mhm.
sports day and colors of houses and stuff from little. You have pride in that.
Mhm.
Yes, they drive and give you a heart attack. It is like their horn. They lay
Mhm.
on a horn. I don't know if it's like New York. It's a horn driven driving experience. So you got to be on your P's and Q's.
And they switch lanes too. Like, I mean,
Oh,
it's like you
they
just
want to
stay
overtake
on
and
your
pass
side.
you.
I'm telling you, they're gonna pass anybody down
It's
there. It don't
like
matter if it's dark, nothing.
no, and you on a precipice. You literally the embankment and
Hmm.
then the mountain. So there's no
Right.
way for you to pass me, sir. And there's a truck coming. So how are you
Right.
going to pass me now? So yeah, that is something that is heart stopping. Again, shout out to DL. And yeah, there's so much about the nighttime that I want to share because it was the 60th Independence anniversary, which
Oh.
is huge. So one of the big points of pride, I know some of us are not like as into, and some people are really into July 4th here, but Independence Day there is huge.
Lit,
So
huh?
it's like a week long of government sanctioned like celebration. You get a day off, and which was this year the holiday fell on a Saturday. So I was like, shout out to like no one getting the day off.
Mhm.
But they had a week long, which I got to enjoy. So I went to this is one in Kingston. So after I spent almost the first week in the country
Mhm.
between my people's home, and I have a couple pictures of that in the mountains of St. Anne to the second week being in Kingston. This was one of the Independence Village events. So it was by the National Stadium where they run the track and do all kinds of concerts. When Buju Banton did his big concert, when he got out of prison, kind of thing. So it was in this vicinity. I went to 3 events in that very vicinity. 2 were cultural, 1 was a party. But this one, Independence Village, and I got some cute earrings at Independence Village, was like a marketplace where they had
Mhm.
local businesses set up. They actually did movie screenings, 7-minute like short films. In the park, they also had music playing. It was good. I also went to a gospel fest. That might
Okay.
have been the Thursday night. Oh my gosh! I said "Juking for Jesus." I said "Soaking for Jesus." It was old school, what they call revivalist music, which is
Mhm.
almost like uh, I don't know. It's a African spiritual. It's hot, heavy drum beat, and dance in a certain way, like how my grandma would
Mhm.
dance. with a little
Right.
hand on the hip and in a circle and a movement. That boy, I was
Right.
like, I had to get up and start drinking for cheese.
It's crazy. I didn't know Jamaica only got their independence 60 years ago. Who did they get
Yes.
independence from? Like, what happened? Like, what's the
So
story behind that?
yeah, British independence. So it was a colony of, actually Jamaica has been in the hands in Spanish hands, British hands, and someone help me if we have had. I know it went back and forth between England and Spain
Mm,
several times. So that's why you have places like Ocho Rios, Spanish word for 8 rivers,
mhm,
and the first cap. Well, we have a Spanish town. Actually, it's not the first capital. I did some research and I'm like, there's another first capital, but people who don't know say Spanish town was the first capital, but it wasn't actually. I forget the name. It has a longer name, but yeah, you have influences from the British. You have influences from Spain and the native people there, the Arawak, some people call them Taino, which were the
mhm,
native Indians, and of course
mhm,
Africans. So yeah, so in the 62, I think it is, was the revolution, if you will,
mm,
that gave us quote independence, but we are still a part of the Commonwealth, or I should say Jamaica is still a part of the Commonwealth, which is also very interesting because the Queen is still the head of state, even though you have local governance now independent of the British like Parliament. So what independence gave the island was fully administered government. However, you still have a governor general, which is a representative of the crown on the island, kind of ceremonial.
mhm,
Several of the Commonwealth countries have it, but there's even a push now with the current prime minister, which is equivalent to a president, to remove the queen and completely, and to be, because I was like, we kind of still got a lot of the British influence, so independence in a way. But yeah, people, there is a movement about it. Even with Queen, oh, excuse me, with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle when they visited a couple years back, there was like a the prime minister shook his hand and was like, "Yeah, we might want to be independent, but real for real, for real." So, almost like Barbados. Barbados would be a good example of that, having removed the queen as head of state. So that has not happened, but it was. You can go back and look at some of the history with the national heroes, the first folks to lead the country as far as having political parties. This is like maybe late 1800s, early 1900s. We're all cousins and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting history. As I say, it's still very British, quite
So
frankly.
what's British about it? Because I really, like
The
as an
court
outsider, I don't
system.
really know.
Court
The
system.
court
So, for
system.
example, if and I have several cousins there that are lawyers too. If they want to appeal, they have to appeal. There's a high court in Jamaica, but then the real appeals court is in England. The
Wow.
Privy Council. You appeal to the Privy Council, and they have the final say on legal cases. So your high, like your Supreme Court, still is in England, basically.
So you would have to
Um,
appear all the way over there. Like you got to get on the plane
yeah,
in order to like.
if you
Wow.
appeal. So there are certain things, like I have an uncle that, rest in peace, has won cases in front of the Privy Council and things like this. So yeah, there's such a deep tie in terms of trade and, like I said, culture. When we think of we love to drink tea, and there's other parts of our
Mm,
social graces and things. Even if you would compare it into what has developed in the American South, there's
mm.
so much influence there from our predecessors. So yeah, there's still highly deep cultural tie as well as legal tie. I know as far as trade and things like this. And then, like I say, when you need defense, Jamaica doesn't have its own. They have police and soldiers, but they don't have like an army. So if
Wow.
it came to national defense, it would be like, knock knock, big sis, thank you. We'd love your help, you know. So I think that's been one of the reasons kind of to stay in that alliance of the Commonwealth.
Mm. Yeah, I have a totally nerdy question I'll ask you later. Like I'm gonna just leave that alone. So the party, like the entire celebration, right? Like so it's like based on like around like the 60th independence. So like, what was like the first day of the celebration? So it seems like it's like a bunch of different festivals and like shopping and all. Like, what was the first day like?
Yeah, so I was still in country during like the opening ceremonies, but I
Mhm.
will tell you the last 3 days, which is what I call it Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Besides the Gospel Fest, which was all sold out, the indoor stadium was packed. I have
Mhm.
a cousin who serves in the government. We walked in, we sat in the front row, and I was like, "Oh, okay, that's what we're doing." Okay, and it was like you could tell what the people's hearts were. It was like, God bless Jamaica, God bless and go. It was so Holy Ghost filled. I was like, again, I thought when she said gospel concert, I just went with her because I thought it was gonna be opera. It was not. It was
Mhm.
not. We have the village as well as the biggest event of the week. Saturday is called the Grand Gala. I've gone through the Grand Gala in past years. It is the national stadium full of people and the different cultural presentations. They had the big highlight of the Grand Gala this year was a 300 drone, um, what should I say, tribute. So you
Wow.
had Usain Bolt's shape in the drone. You had Bob Marley on the guitar in the drone, and people were going crazy. And so it's just an overall celebration of Jamaican music, Jamaican language, culture, when it comes to food. So that you get everybody. I got three great Jamaican outfits now
Right.
because everyone's in their colors. The school children are, reciting poems and things from Jamaican poet laureates and things like this. It's just an overall cultural like explosion,
Mhm.
and people are just proud of the history. And being a country that is that small
Mhm.
and having this kind of international influence
Impact. Yeah.
outsized when it comes to reggae, when it comes to track, when it
Track.
comes to
Yep.
food. It's amazing. So there's a big national pride. Ebony, you was in Panama. I didn't see that girl. Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
So this is so funny. Somebody
Mhm.
else wrote me on Insta that told me they was from Higginstown. So
Mhm.
Higgintown, we passed Higgintown to get to where my peoples are from. So it's
Mhm.
funny. He was like, "Yo, we cousins." I was like, "We probably have relatives that are married into each other." I'm not gonna lie because people did not go far to look for their loved one,
Mhm.
significant other back in the day. It was literally around the corner, up the next district, the next community over, really. So yeah, big up Higgintown. We passed them. We passed also 9 Mile. 9 Mile is where Bob Marley was born. So he was
Okay.
born up in you know him from Kingston and Trenchtown, but he was born in the hills. He was born in St. Anne. So that's a big tourist attraction now for people to drive up in the mountains. And I'm talking about windy, windy. When I say hill, windy mountains. Cannot wait to share some of that video with you guys because it was like, again, heart stopping at times. But I really, really, really enjoy it. It's like part of the adventure. Like, oh my God, we almost lost our lives. Okay, great. Just keep talking, y'all. Like that's the big up Higgintown. Thank you. Jen says this is a great culture and history. Like, yes, I hope
Mhm.
you can. Like again, I'm not the Jamaicanist Jamaican. I'm Jamaican.
Right.
But yes, same thing. Ebony Jamaica's not totally independent. Yes, exactly, exactly.
Right.
Um, yep. So there's a lot more history than I even know. My parents, when I was little, did teach me, who the nine, as in nine, y'all give me the right number. National heroes, Sir Bustamante,
Oh wow.
um, oh my goodness, Norman Manley, and Paul Bogle, all of the people, the freedom fighters, Nanny of the Maroons, and all the people that were instrumental in different parts of the country's
Heroes.
history. Yeah, national heroes are on every elementary school. That's how you know you're passing an elementary school. The
Mhm.
national heroes are painted on the front. So there's this oral history that is preserved and is very, very prominent everywhere you look, especially during the celebration of independence.
Yeah, I mean, and during that week, and even like last week, your girl Shelly Ann Fraser Price was talking about track. Like she went off for Jamaica like recently. I don't know if you've been keeping track with that. Like so, Jamaica has just been on top like all over the world. Like all you see is her everywhere. So it's just
Oh
interesting.
yeah, she was representing for the ladies on the 100-meter. Yes, thank you, Miss Globe
Mhm.
girl. See the education system, duh, Sue.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it.
So I just
Following the
happen to
British
love
system.
education. Tell me like what's so British about the education system? Like what? Like,
So the just how even like we don't how in the United States we have our grades,
mm-hmm.
they have what's called forms.
Okay.
So first form, second form, third form, I think is equivalent to, and y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, like fifth and sixth grades, seventh grade, eighth grade, ninth grade. Like third form, I think is like eighth grade.
Mm-hmm.
So that same as in the British system. You also have to take a high stakes test. I know in the United States we've gotten away from high stakes tests.
Mm-hmm.
Poor children have to take a high stakes test to even qualify for high school.
Oh
So it's
wow.
not like here where you just naturally matriculate. No, your test scores determine, and your money, your pocket determine what high school you get into. So even my little cousins down there who are getting ready to graduate and all this, it's very interesting how their post secondary education is considered literally their some of it is a high school, and then they're starting college. My little cousins will be 15, 16, ready to start almost equivalent to an associate's there. So high school graduation is more like 15, 16, and
Mm-hmm.
then college starts much younger. But yeah, the years and what they're called and the testing system and getting into college, etc., is modeled after the British system.
So Kareen says she left in second form. So what grade would that be?
Yeah, I'm like, yes,
Definitely.
Ebony, you take the words right out of my mouth. We also, right before independence was Emancipation Day.
Oh, okay.
So we call it Emancipendence. Thank y'all. I might have to drop the link so y'all can do some schooling too. Yes, yes, Bob Marley is not a national hero as of yet. Yes, we are cousins, Ebony. Yes, he's 9 Mile, Nanny of the Maroons, Norman Manley. Yes, thank you. Um, Left in second form. Yes, this is the big part. The educational system is more difficult than here.
Oh
Absolutely.
wow.
Kids are competitive. It's not, you don't sleep in school. You don't like the attitude of like, why do I need this? No, your family is like writing on you to get through, to go to a good private school, the top tier schools, and it's a competition. So, and even to into your adulthood, people are asking you, what high school did you go to
Mm,
kind of indicate, are you really playing the game or what you really playing? It's really
wow.
sad. Even in America, people will ask you what high school. I went to
That's a
school in
big deal
America.
in
Don't
St.
judge me.
Louis. That's a big
Yeah,
deal where I'm from in St. Louis. Everybody wants to know. Like they even had on the radio, it's like the hottest high school contest, and everybody
oh,
was calling
really?
in. Yeah, seriously. It was a
Yeah,
big
there,
deal.
high schools are like college. It's like
Okay.
pre-college. So when you hear KC or Kingston College or JC, or one of my aunts went to, several of my cousins went to like St. Hilda's, is a great private school. Westwood in the countryside. I'm trying to think of another one that my cousins went to. Campion College. There's a girl and a boy. They board. They either board. They can, you can stay at your house and go, but they oftentimes stay on the campus at a high school level,
Mm,
especially if you're like from the countryside, and if you have the money, you would board, or you can rent a room from somebody in the city while you attend and take the taxi or take a driver going. But yes, you have to pay for high school. It's not easy to get loans for college. All of that is quite different. Kareen says, yes, I passed the common entrance exam at 10. That's that high stakes test to determine
wow.
at 10 years old what high school you get into, and it's
Wow.
huge. And they post the list publicly, and people are crying, and there's wailing and gnashing of teeth and that kind of thing. It's super important. Yes, skip fifth grade. Okay, great. And you went to seventh because of her scores. So
Wow.
it's super competitive. Yes, second form is eighth grade. Okay, I was almost right. Yeah, cool. So Independence is August 6th. Yes, not a national hero just yet. It's almost like everybody's waiting for them to vote him in.
Mhm.
Yes, but high school in Jamaica is very competitive. So
Do
yeah, so
you
there is the British connection. It's really deep. It's really, really, really deep.
do
And I
you
don't
think
think you need a passport to come there if you're a Commonwealth or something. It's a little bit easier to travel. I'm not sure of the rules. Let me not say for certain, but there are rules in terms of travel between Commonwealth countries that are also makes it easier.
that's why like the scores around the world are just higher like than America's right now?
Oh,
Because
100%.
people, I mean, I'm telling you, like there's a lot of kids that don't even want to be there because in school, and just to hear the kids are actively competing to get into high school is that's
Yes.
totally a foreign world for me, as a
Oh,
principal.
yeah. Trust me, I remember even being in elementary school here and my parents constantly asking me what number I was. What am I ranked in the class? Because it was unusual for them. They're like, "What number are you?" And I kept thinking, "Mommy, we don't do that here."
Right.
And they came to the school and they realized who were the smartest kids, and they always told me, "You got to beat her or you got to beat him." That's what their role
Right.
was. So the competition never ceased. The mindset of people is different as far as education. Of
Mhm.
course, we have people that value education in the U.S., of course, but as a
Right.
whole, across the board, it's not even a joke. It is super competitive. You take pride in your kid getting into a certain school, and you're disappointed if you don't. And in society, it kind of puts you in different silos once you make it to or don't make it to a high school. So it's super, super competitive.
Huh. I mean, that's really really interesting. I'm just thinking, like, do you think that that's probably like a better system overall? Because it seems like when immigrants come here, like they thrive, because like they're literally like trying to be number one in like the class, or they're trying to be in
Oh,
the top 10%. Do you think that that's a
no, the atmosphere. I mean, all my cousins that migrate here, they are like 2 or 3 grades above their age.
oh
It
wow.
can backfire because it can hold them back. They become like the teacher's pet and help teach the other students
Mm,
because they are almost afraid to graduate them from high school at 14 and 15. But curriculum wise, they are much more advanced. So what people are doing here in terms of math and science in like 8th grade, they've done that there in 4th grade, in 5th grade. So it's just a what that's why even in our system when we say students can only do so much and students can only no, no. It's what we teach them. And
mm,
honestly, it's as smart as the teacher that's teaching them, if that makes sense.
mhm.
And shout out to teachers, it's not a knock, but the caliber and the respect that teachers get there, they don't play about that. Teachers are like honored people in the society there. So
Mm.
even I have several aunts that are educators. They're my mom's first cousins, but I call them auntie. And they even now as adults, and they say people stop them all the time in the supermarket. And I went out with my first cousin who's a teacher there, and she was like, people stopped us in the mall. I was like 4 different places where she took me shopping, and someone stopped her in all those places. She's like, this never happens. I'm like, well, something is happening because
Right.
they're revered. They don't deal with, you know. And again, you have high schools that are rough, rough, rough because they're in rough neighborhoods and they're not the ranked high school.
Mhm.
But when it comes to like the private schools, is a different ball game. They don't play education is just, you are competing for everything. So it's a different mindset.
It seems like it's a combination of things too. Like you have like these incredible parents that are like, hey, like this is the expectation. And when I was growing up, the expectation was always to go to college. So I didn't know anything else, and where some people might not have like that level of expectation at home here. So it's just interesting to see
Oh
that.
no, we have high expectations to the point where you want to go crazy. That's what it is. Yes. Ebony said there's like a 90% literacy rate, I think is what she mean.
I had no
Yes.
idea.
So it's like, and that's, I think Barbados has a higher literacy, I think we mean. And like Cuba has the highest. So yeah, it's serious when it comes to that. Now, pretty awesome. JM says, I saw the title and thought you were talking about Secrets Resort. Now, Secrets is one of them adult only hedonistic places. No, I did not go to no Secrets. I did pass it on the road, but I did not go to Secrets. We were at a very, very different hotel. But I'll tell you a little bit about the nightlife, though. I'll tell you a
Yeah.
little bit. One of the places, and I'll probably end up doing a quick part two, guys, on Saturday. But one of the places that I enjoyed to talk about wonderful celebration was a party in Kingston outside of the National Stadium at a place called Mass Camp. So
Mm,
it's like a huge open field, basically in a circle, and so many different parties are thrown there, events are thrown at Mass Camp. And one of them was a party called Yesterdays, which
mm,
is a party that strictly plays old school. And what they
mm,
consider old school is 90s reggae, or really, I thought they played a lot of other American, like, uh, what should I say, pop, old. Like, one thing about Jamaican DJs, they're very eclectic and they like to play from every genre. So I'm talking about from the touch of his hand, made me more relax. So they took it way back from 90s. At some points, I was like, okay, Tina. All
mhm,
right. But it's an oldies to new school, and the new, again, new meaning 90s to them,
mm,
party. And this is like they had confetti with the national colors. They played Katy Perry firework, and there was a fireworks show. So I thoroughly enjoyed my dance moments and all that. And then one of the other really, I won't, you see how I'm skipping over it kind of nicely. Hit the like button, y'all.
yeah.
One of the other beautiful, yes, I know you meant literacy rate, beloved. Yeah. Prayer every morning is also very big.
Mhm.
Recitation and memorization of prayer. My mom still recites prayers she learned in school. Like that's huge there. Choral reading, right? Learning how to inflect and present. That's why I think sometimes we are such characters in terms of our personalities. And even in sports, Usain Bolt and Carrie, Shelly Ann Fraser
Yeah.
Price, and like how they present that. I think again it's like a molding by a culture that expects you to be loquacious and know how to present yourself and have conversation and engage and be curious and those things. That's a part of the culture. So but yeah, it's very very, yes, repeating the national anthem is very big. Even during my family reunion, we sang the national anthem like four times every in front of every
Well,
person.
that's why it was a big deal when Shelly forgot the words, I guess, because like she was
Yo,
up
you can't be playing the games.
and they
Even
were on
me.
her. They were on her.
No, you can't be playing games like that. Don't do it to yourself. So yeah, it was it's again, I feel like I'm blessed to have had some of that exposure and that I have been able to retain it because I think parts of me and how I think and how I present in the world are definitely just because of that overlay in terms of my Jamaican parentage. So for sure, I also wanted to touch before we, I guess we could drop the link a little bit. I don't know, but I'm gonna do a part two Saturday, y'all, and then we'll get back into it. Like I said, my folks are from St. Anne in the countryside. I had a beautiful time uh, talking with again relatives from there, catching up relatives from around the world. If I could show you some of the views, the vista from up there, I think about my grandpa and I think about my great grandparents just waking up and your house is perched on the side of a mountain looking into a deep and glorious valley. There's always fog when the clouds roll in the morning, and it's you're just I feel like you're close to God when you're up there. The air is crisper, the sun is hotter even because you're so much higher in the atmosphere, and it's green. It's not snow-capped mountains, it's green mountains. So to be up, this is my grand uncle's home, and we had a cookout like that was a Monday, and people from the village came and enjoyed. I went to my other cousin's baby shower while I was in Kingston. So it was just again refreshing and renewal when it comes to just the pure essence of family and how oftentimes we are distracted and there are so many things that we are told are wrong with families. But when we boil it down to family is people loving people and trying to be there for them, encouraging them, celebrating them, crying with them, and always being there. When it comes to that, it was again just a refreshing reminder of like we make life so simple. I mean, so complicated, and it is so simple.
Yeah.
So I just again the lime, which is the hangout, was amazing. Just sitting down, as you would say, grab a beer. For me,
Mhm.
grab a mostly like a soda, the Jamaican colas,
Mhm.
the cola champagne or the cream soda, and sit down and just talk. Lime.
Mhm.
The one thing we love to do is just have conversations. And here I am having conversations with that.
Right.
That was a huge part of the trip as well for me, just spending time with the fam.
And another thing that y'all do is y'all eat, man. Like the food down there is crazy. So we've been talking about all this greenery and stuff like that. So like it's the fruits and like what is it called, like bok choy or something like that.
Yes, pop
Like, man,
Joe.
yeah, I don't even know how to say it, but it was good, man. Up here we call them greens.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah,
good.
now funny enough, I told my cousin this. I don't know if my stomach not used to the water or what's going on.
Mhm.
But I would eat it all over again because you can't eat at every little eatery. You're supposed to eat at the main places, right? But
Mhm.
I like to stop on the side of the road and I like to, pick fruit like directly from that tree right there and come bring it to me and sell it to me, which is so funny because you see where they picked it from.
Right.
But I enjoy the natural fruits. The pineapple was so good. The homegrown pineapple, the homegrown bananas. Woo, so good. They're so small. They're the small finger ones
Mhm.
and sweet. Let me think what else. What we call guinep.
Mhm.
Spanish people, depending on your island, some people call it ackee, but it's not ackee. Barbadians or Bajans call it ackee. I heard kenep, I heard chenet, genepa for Spanish people, or
Mhm.
Spanish lime. It is one of the best fruit ever. We call it genep. We were had it all over, and I was just it's like a lychee family fruit, soft, sweet, fleshy circle of sweet fruit, gooey-ish around a seed, and you just crack the outside that looks like a lime, a
Mhm.
softer skin than a lime, thinner. And I actually found a new fruit called longang fruit. I don't know if y'all ever heard of this.
Never heard of it.
It's a lychee family fruit, also Chinese, because we had Chinese indentured servants and traders.
Mm.
So the longang fruit, my uncles called it the wrong name. You know, we always give something the wrong name. They have a name for it, but it's not. I'm like, it's like when I looked it up, it's Langang as a place in China, I think. But
Mhm.
it is a lychee family fruit, very nice as well. My uncle has a tree, so I was like, this is the first time I had this fruit. So yeah, I was big into the fruits. One thing I had to have, but I did not have, is a fried lobster. I'm so mad. I
Oh man.
left without my fried lobster in Kingston or St. Andrew. There is a beach, a very popular beach called Hellshire,
Mhm.
but we say Elisha. Elisha Beach. And it's when I was little, I was like, why do we call it that? And
Mhm.
they just say Elisha.
Mhm.
But the fried lobster, my cousins went without me. I was so mad. I did not have my fried lobster, but I did. Oh, let me put back the one thing I also must get is ice cream. This place here, Devon
Uh-huh.
House. I stayed like around the block from it. I only had one ice cream, but I will tell you, bruh, that ice cream didn't do my stomach right. It went. I'm not used to certain things anymore.
Mhm.
So, but they have the world famous ice cream. It is in a colonial style house that is almost like a museum and a hangout place. They have
Mhm.
shops there. I did a lot of shopping there, and they have lobster patties and fish patties,
Oh
and they
wow.
create them French style. So that was one of the places that I enjoyed. It was like so close to where I was that I really enjoy there. Everybody needs to go to Devon House. I enjoyed the grape nut ice cream, or at least it enjoyed me. I think I had too many things that day. I think it was just too many things that day.
Or like the
But
fish and lobster patties, or they like the beef patty, but just like a different
no,
type of meat.
different constitu like consistency and constitution. They do it French style. It almost looks like a French baguette wrapped up into one.
Oh
That
wow.
at Devon House style. So it
Mm.
doesn't look like the flat one, like the
Mhm.
empanada style. Mm-mm. This one is like luxurious and like upper class patty. So only sold there. And you get people freezing them, taking them back with them, all kinds of stuff. So that was one of my favorite stops. I think I went there probably 3 times for different patties and then to the shop. But it is a beautiful, just a hangout place. During Independence, I didn't even Saturday you couldn't even get over there.
Mm.
People just that's a place they go with their family and just hang out. So no, I couldn't even get after I went there probably the Monday, Tuesday, and then I went the next week because you couldn't even get over there. It was just too many people hanging out. So yeah, Devon House ice cream. Shout out to Devon House is always a must see, must do. But the fruits is my favorite. Oh, and the last day I finally got sweet and sour fish. I love Jamaican style
Never
sweet and
heard of
sour
it.
fish. One of my favorite things on earth. And my cousin, I had kept telling her, I was like, you know, I haven't gotten sweet and sour fish yet. You know, I haven't gotten sweet and sour fish yet. It just tastes good. And the lo mein and chow mein tastes different. It's the Jamaican Chinese style.
Mhm.
Um, it was so good. So my last day, I finally got my sweet and sour fish.
So, like, what does a cookout look for, like, for your family? Like, are y'all doing like the red snapper? Like, what are we doing? Jerk chicken? Like, what do y'all do?
So when we have the mountainside gatherings, it's jerk chicken. What do we have? Curry goat, jerk chicken, fried chicken. The
Mhm.
Jamaican style fry also has a nice flavor to it, and rice and peas, or peas
Okay.
and rice, however you want to call it, rice and peas. And let me think, what else did I have on my plate? Fried plantain, or fried, we
Mm.
call it
Fire.
plantain.
Mhm.
And I think because it was, oh, fish, of course, fried fish. We definitely had the fried fish. I don't know if it was snapper, but it was definitely fried fish.
Mhm.
So we had fish, two types of chicken, jerk and fry, and then curry goat. And then everybody has cabbage or salad. It's just
Mhm.
chopped cabbage, chopped carrots, and like a vinegar type
Mhm.
flavor. And I'm like, that's not salad, but that's what they call salad there. And it's so yummy. So it was simple, but it was so hearty and lovely to eat.
Yeah. So I mean, you went from being inside like for good, just locked in, so you were all the way outside, just having a great time, and it's good to see.
Absolutely. It was again one of those trips that I know that is gonna go down as probably one of my best because again, I didn't rush back. Usually I rush back and go to work. I want to fix my light here, guys. My light wants to lean up
Yeah.
against my darn computer and not make me be great. But yeah, I didn't want to rush back. That was my big thing. I really wanted to stay. And because so many of my other cousins stayed over longer for the extra week or two, it was something where we could just be together. So
Mm,
that was so powerful in terms of allowing us that time to just lime and just hang out, share stories, be just talking and be there for one another. That was the big difference this trip. I was like, I will never rush back again and come back to work and be like crazy. Even though I've been tired the last couple of days, thank God we had already kind of set this date because I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. My body's still tired. Like I had so much energy while I was there, and then all of a
mm.
sudden I'm just tired
Well, I mean,
today.
you're traveling too, though. I mean, like they're probably
Yes, I was like,
body,
I
you
done
were
took
putting
out
the
all
outdoor.
my energy, but
Mhm.
yeah, it just was a spiritual soul lifting vacay, and I just needed it. I just realized it was one of those moments that I wanted to just savor. I was like, I could have stayed through another weekend. I should have stayed through it. Like that's all I kept saying.
Mhm.
I should have stayed. I should have stayed a little bit longer. Should I drop the link? You want in the next live?
Yeah,
We only have a
sure.
few minutes
I
left,
got
guys.
time. I got time.
All right, so let's drop the link if anybody else wants to come and ask a question or two or just talk about their experience there. We won't be before you long. I'm definitely going to talk more about this on the Jamaicans.com stream on Saturday at 12 noon. But
Okay.
join the convo as we have a few minutes left as I talk about all of the wonderful things I got to experience and places I had to go and people. Like I said, the people. I'll read a few comments while you guys get the link up. Or
Mhm.
do you want to read them? How about I'm going to drop
It's
down and you
cool.
read
It's
them?
cool. All right. So let's see. If you're, let's see. Wait. Let's go back up some a little bit. What is no manish wata? What does that mean?
Oh, Manish water. Of course, we had Manish water. Manish water is goat soup.
Okay.
So it is. Hey, the world class. Nice to see you. Wonderful to have you here. Uh, okay, I'm getting a little bit. I'm sorry if I did I go back far too far,
Yeah,
maybe.
we're good. We're good. So,
But
oh,
mentioned Panama earlier. Jamaicans were instrumental in building the canal. Absolutely, absolutely,
mhm.
absolutely. So a lot of the black Panamanians that you see call they call them a certain not costaños. They have a name. Afro Antilianos are
Okay.
Jamaican descendants. Shout out to my Afro Antilianos, Panamanians, Costa Ricans.
Let's see
But
about you.
yes, fruits galore, guineps galore. Oh my gosh, every
Mhm.
stop I got guinep. Um, yes, they have Jamaican grandfathers, many of them. Yes, grew up you did close to Hellshire Beach in Port Moore. Yeah. So
Mhm.
again, Hellshire, we call Elsha, is one of the famous beaches. It actually has eroded quite a bit, is one of the things I noticed. And
Mhm.
it is but their food, yes, Lord, is some of the best food on the island.
So, what's special about the food? Like, what do they
That
have?
I'm telling you, that fried lobster, that fried fish on Hellshire Beach, it's like from the ocean to your mouth. It is so
Wow.
good. It is so good. I didn't get to go. I'm so mad, but
Mhm.
don't worry. There's a lot of more. I think I might be at Christmas the way this was not. Yes, rum and raisin for sure is also very popular. The best ice cream, yes, is Devon House for sure. Y'all love to run. You like the curry goat patty? Yeah, I'm big on the fish, the shrimp, and the lobster patties. There are so good. What did I bring back? I brought back clothing and earrings. Y'all
Okay.
know I'm an earring kind of statement piece girl. So I even wore one of them that last night I went out. The last night my cousin took me to four different clubs. I was like, cuz I know it's in the week, but and I know you're expecting a baby,
Mhm.
but what we doing? So he was such a sport. There's a good, I'll tell you what, the good new clubs, or not so new, but I had not been to them. So in 3 years they have been around. Jangas in New Kingston.
Mhm.
Jangas is the bomb. It is a more mature crowd, grown and sexy, even on the inside. Even I call it inside. It's one of those clubs that's built around the natural trees and foliage. So the
Mhm.
tables are in between natural fauna,
Mm-hmm.
flora. It's so beautiful.
Mm.
We went there even twice to check it out to see if it would pick up, but they're very good on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And the drink, I ordered an iced tea. I asked the lady, I want white. I drink white.
Mm-hmm.
The lady comes back with a nice cup this size, and I go to sip it. I thought my cousin was gonna think I'm being picky. Do you know what the three mixtures of white liquor they had in that?
No, like what is like rum,
They
maybe
had
vodka.
the Jamaican white rum, which
Okay.
is itself poison, gin,
Oh
and
no,
vodka.
no.
I was like, I took one sip. I said, "Where's the iced tea?" I was like, "This is a man's drink. What's going on?" And I think my cousin, I was like, "Please don't think I'm being difficult. Taste it." He was like, "Dang." I had to put the Jamaican grapefruit drink ting. I had to
Hmm.
put ting in a separate glass and like pour a little at a time. And I'm like,
Wow.
this is not gonna mash up my skin and mash up my stomach. But yeah, that was one of the most beautiful places. Yes, Manish was almost everywhere you go. You start with a nice goat soup. It is so good.
Really?
Yes, I went to my cousin. You saw a picture with the baby shower. We had Manish water to start with. We start two family gatherings. The soup is the first thing.
Mm.
So absolutely left that out. But yes,
And then what's
um,
this Jamaican Chinese food? That yeah, there we go. Like what's this
it
Jamaican
is
Chinese
like I
food?
said, I don't know if because regionally, it's just like when you go to Mexico, Mexican food is different from American, and Tex-Mex is different from that, and it's just the Jamaican Chinese just taste so good. Like I say,
Mm.
they're chow mein, they're lo mein. In terms of, I don't know, the seasoning, maybe they're using some of the more traditional Jamaican a spice palette. I'm thinking thyme, pimento, what other portions? A lot of garlic, a lot of we love onion, garlic, carrot, peppers, of course. But it just tastes so much better. I don't know how to explain it. But
Like it's
the
probably natural food. Like a
yeah,
lot of
and
stuff
it's actually organic, probably is
right,
what I was
right.
gonna
Like
add.
in this process, you don't know what. Like you might grow
Yeah,
a third eye.
a ton of MSG in your stuff. Yeah, no, this is it. Just tastes so fresh and light. I really love the Jamaican Chinese food.
Mhm.
Trini Chinese is really good too. I love Trini Chinese. Tastes a little bit different because again, their spice palette has much more cumin and
Mhm.
curries and things like that. Trini Chinese, but it's good too. No rundown. Did I have rundown at the hotel? That is like a coconut mackerel dish.
Mm.
It is cooked with coconut milk until it like turns into oil and separates from the milk.
Mm.
You sop your bread in that there with the mackerel bringing the salty. Thank you. That's
Y'all
a
got
Christmas
all
dish.
the dishes down there. Y'all got all the
That's
dishes.
a Christmas dish. And like for me now, like special occasions, if we get together on Easter, my family gets together, somebody makes the rundown. But
Mm.
I have not made rundown, funny enough, Miss Globe Girl. I wonder if you've made it, but it was so good. But I had it at the hotel. It was kind of like a knockoff. It was a fugazi at the hotel, but
Do you try to make any
usually
of the stuff here, like in down in like
I can, but some of this is like you leave it to your parents
right?
because I don't make all Jamaican dishes. Like I can make some.
Mhm.
What should I say? Brown stew chicken. I could make oxtails. I don't make them very they're a time consuming dish because you have to braise it and then you have to pressure it, then you have to
Mhm.
stew it. It's like, why would I make oxtails just for myself, right? But
Right.
I know the process and I'm sure I could do it for a family. But yes, no, I did not go to Portland. I was in Ochi. I went to St. Mary. I went to Hope Gardens, which is the zoo in Kingston. I went to Hope Gardens. The last time I had been to Hope Gardens was as a little girl. And so the baby shower was there. It was beautiful. And I went to St. Anne, of course. I forget what the next parish over is called. I'll tell you right now. But and Kingston, St. Andrew. That's pretty much it. So I
Mm.
say but that's out of like the 13. I probably went to like 5. So
Mhm.
stayed mostly in the central portion of the island.
Mm.
Yep. Let me see if anybody want to come back. Hey Andre, nice to see you. Yes, that Jamaican rum alone will have you wishing you
Yeah,
had it. So
I'm
I can't
telling you.
imagine why you would combine it with two other whites in one big old glass with almost no juice. Thank you, sir. You're not gonna. Yes, mouth on fire. When I sipped it, I was like, "Cuz this about to be."
Like, is
This
that
was
her I'm out there? Is
my story.
that her?
And I was exactly, that's how I swear. I'm like, no. And I didn't want him to think I'm being spoiled as
Right.
American, people are perceived. And I'm like, no, promise you, taste it. And then he tasted it. He was like, nah, bro, they need to do something with that. Yes. This was like Ray and him nephew, his whatless nephew. That's the main rum brand, that white rum. I
Mm.
use it if I feel like I'm getting sick. I take a capful and I go to my bed. That's how
It
I use
clears it
it.
all up, huh? That's how
It's
strong it is.
medicine, medicinal purposes. I don't know
Right.
how people just drink it for fun.
Nah.
Yeah, it's really, yes. Carrie says, I'm getting hungry listening to you. Yeah, no, the food was always a highlight for me. The new places I went in terms of just hanging out with folks and the fam. Yes, world class cuisine indeed. 14 parishes. Thank you for getting me straight on that, my love. But yeah, it was overall, and I'm gonna continue the conversation on Saturday. But just wanted to let y'all know I'm here and I'm back.
Back. So
And as
you going back full force? Like you going 3 streams again next
yeah,
week?
I think I have a training program that I have to do for the rest of the month, and I
Mm-hmm.
think their day is Monday. So the only thing I might have to do is maybe train or do my stream a little bit later on a Monday. So I
Mm-hmm.
have to, once I get the training schedule for the next, I think it's like a month or so, I have to figure that out, and then I'll know my schedule for sure. But it's definitely going to be at least 2 to 3 days, but just the times may have to be adjusted as opposed to 7. Might be 9 one day, it might be 8, that kind of thing.
Right.
But y'all just hit the notification bell and hit the like button.
Oh,
This is
yeah.
another big thing. KFC Jamaica is its own, what should I say, has its own lore. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same recipes. They use local recipes for the KFC. So
Mm-hmm.
they even have a type of chicken that's not sold here, which is like what they call it barbecue, but it's really like it's not really Barbie fry, but the skin on that is juicy like a Skittle. Like it's so juicy
Wow.
that it's not sold here. It's not the barbecue. The barbecue up here in America is dry.
Yeah.
That barbecue tastes so marinated and it's a fried external with barbecue sauce. So they call it Barbie fry, but it's not like this one. People get off the plane. I had my cousin leave the hotel to go get the KFC
Wow.
because they want the KFC there. It tastes so much better. They just brought Popeyes down. I asked my cousin, I'm like, is Popeyes is like, as obsessive as the KFC? And they're like, no. Jamaicans don't like the fact that there's only hot and mild.
Oh,
There's
okay.
much more variety with the KFCs there. And the KFC line be long,
I think
long.
y'all barbecue is more juicy sometimes because y'all do like the wet like
Yeah, it's like
seasoning,
a wet barbecue.
right? Like we
Like,
use like a lot of dry seasonings and like y'all
yes,
stuff
but
wet.
it's still a fried skin. It's not a wet skin. It still has a batter. But it
Right.
is, when I tell you, people be obsessing over the KFC. That's actually a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so did I have any KFC? I don't. And I also went to 2 beaches in Montego Bay for the first time. I went to some place called Harmony Park.
Mm-hmm.
I have some pictures from there. Super fun. They had a water. I won't tell. I'll tell you Saturday. But they had like almost like a water. I gotta find some pictures of that. You
Mm-hmm.
know those what would they call it? Inflatable water game in the ocean places? That's what it was. So we paid $10 and we went out in the middle of the ocean. I was like jumping off of, like, the banana part where somebody pops you up. I was not going to do that. I let the little cousins handle that, but it was fun. And I thought I was going to get like the hottest tan ever because it was so hot out there.
Mm-hmm.
But it was some new places. I got a couple more spots to tell y'all about, but it was so good. And it was just again, the soul was lifted. The tiredness again now is like, oh my God, I can't go back for a while. I gotta work. So yeah, there was that kind of sadness, but I made the best of my last 2 days. Like I said, oh, let me tell you real quick, Janga's, I think this place is called Cruise, was a vibe on a Monday. A place called 100. I had not been there. There was a jerk stop and oldie but goodies named Ribbies. We went to Ribbies. That is the latest open club that says open the latest in Kingston. So if you go early, you're never gonna have a good time. But at the 3 o'clock into the wee hours, everybody heads there. So yeah, I learned. Oh, and I also went to the waterfront. Kingston has like a redeveloped waterfront. Like, I mean, it's not really beachfront. It's a ocean front to the harbor, which is a naturally occurring harbor.
Mm,
So beautiful, so beautiful. I'm like, yes to the harbor.
mm.
Couples down there is beautiful, and I realize a lot of the people that tourists that come directly from the airport like stop right there, and they put a couple restaurants down there for them to eat at.
Have
And
you I was gonna ask you, have you ever thought about, maybe moving back? Have you ever thought about that, or
no,
buying
I know
a
I
home,
talk about it with such nostalgia. No,
or
I
even buying
might
a
own
home?
an
Like, I have a
apartment
friend that's a
there.
lawyer too, and he's like, man, I might have to end up leaving. Like, he's down in Jamaica all the time.
I think I that could be me. Like now that I feel okay, safe with traveling and doing whatever,
Hmm.
I was telling my cousins, I'm like, I might need to buy a condo down here, bro,
Hmm.
because this is nice. Like just the refreshingness of the people. Golly, I'm like, I don't think they're being fake. They're just jovial, nice. Of course, you're a foreigner, so you bring U.S. money, so everybody's gonna be nice. But I do think that's a part of the ethos there. And it was just again, I was like, golly, I feel refreshed. So
Hmm.
I was thinking about it again. Next trip, I'm like, maybe I want to go other places because I hate when people are like, I always go to the same place over and over. So I'm like, maybe I need to think Europe. But then
Hmm.
again, I'm like, I could probably do both. Let's see. And maybe around the United States. I don't like have a hankering to visit anywhere. I've never been to Vegas.
Really?
Mm-mm. No, that was
Yeah,
one
Vegas is
place.
cool.
The girls don't invite me. They secretly tell me after they go. I was like, oh yeah, I went to Vegas. Okay,
It's
great,
like they're
great.
like, you won't even drink their rum, so I know we ain't
No,
taking.
I could not manage it. Yes. Uh Kari says, I grew up drinking white rum. My great grandma gave me a spoonful. They know about it. That white rum, you could rub it on your body and
Wow.
bring a fever down. Like, I don't know how much proof it is, but y'all can't trick me into drinking that with water. Even for at the baby shower, we made the guys, not we, but the girl who made the games, made the guys a 1.5 ounce of white rum. And they had to drink it out of a baby bottle. And I think it burns more when you drink it slow. It was like the slow nipple.
Ooh.
And all of them, they were sweating. It was for my guy cousins. And I was like, why would y'all put an
Yeah,
ounce and a
that don't even
half?
sound fun. It sounds like moonshine or
I
something.
said, why would y'all do that? That's not funny. They're like, it's a shot. I'm like, for them. Yes, we used to rub down with Ray and nephew when we were, yeah, that right rum, splash it on you, drink a cap full, and go to your bed. That fever broke. That fever is gone. Yes, they use it in the rum punch. Absolutely. That rum punch is good. But y'all gotta chill. It's full of sugar. Absolutely. Diabetes punch, 100%.
Mm,
But it is a part, it's a staple. I drink that much rum punch, not a lot. It's like a high fructose, like
mm,
Kool-Aid-ish, but there's a recipe of the lemon to the sugar, like the sour to the sweet. Gotta have the pimento seeds in there too to add a little spice. It is really nice.
mm.
Yes, Ebony says, I heard TV reporters here in New York talking about how good KFC in Jamaica is. They always
Wow.
long line. Absolutely. Yeah, Harmony Park is beautiful. I did not go to Doctor's Cave.
Yeah.
That is definitely on the list. There's so many other little secrets spots. Scotchies, my cousins again took off from the hotel, did not tell me, and they actually did. They were like, "You gonna come with us to Scotchies?" Scotchies is like a mainstream off the beaten path place that serves jerk and all kinds of local fare, and it's an outdoor, open, safe place to kind of chill. But no, I definitely had cousins that went to Scotchies during the reunion, and
Mm.
they were like, "You want to come?" And I'm like, "No, I'm good." I went to Margaritaville instead, and I went to what's the other club in Mobe? I can't
The
think.
Margaritaville.
Pier One.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it wasn't. Those weren't actually as great as the places in Kingston because it felt like a tourist club
Hmm.
instead of local people being at the club. So
It
no,
felt
not
very
those.
American at Margaritaville when I was down there.
Yes, I was waiting for the Let Go the Bird, Let Go
Right.
the Bird, like some of the new dances, and it
Yeah.
just felt like I could have been in Atlanta. So yes, definitely. Vegas is a vibe, very hot. Yeah, I have to do that. No moonshine, yes, just the room. Yeah, I thought yes, it's 180 proof. It is too much. Yes, I did not have Boston jerk. I all I have is again, I'm more of a seafood lover.
Mhm.
So I you will find me on the seafood kind of menu places. The one place I love to eat, but I didn't go this time, in addition to Hellshire, is Port Royal. It's
Mm.
glorious. Their food is also good. It is so good.
What do they serve at Port Royal? What do they have there?
Port Royal was the I can you guys can correct me. It's like the fable goes. It was one of the most wickedest cities in the Caribbean.
Mm-hmm.
Captain Morgan, that's who the rum is named from. It was a real person and spent a lot of time buccaneering, bootlegging, and all kinds of stuff. And they said it was like a den of, you know, ill repute. And there was a earthquake. Don't quote me on the year. That literally swallowed parts of Port Royal into the ocean. And it is still preserved kind of like a Pompeii by the, you know, the volcano that took over Pompeii.
Mm-hmm.
That the Port Royal swallowing is still under the sea where it used to be, excuse me, what was left of the city at the time is still under the ocean. You can kind of like dive and see it. So the remnants of what is still above ground is what is Port Royal now. So you see all kinds of relics. It was a what is the word for that? Like where the cannons face the ocean. Oh my gosh, I can't think of my slips my mind. Not a citadel. It was a citadel where it was like, they were the force or the protectors of Kingston City. And you can find, it was so much relics there. I probably visited Port Royal maybe like 5-6 years ago. It was so beautiful. So many places I had not seen there. You can take a boat from Port Royal and also go to some of the keys, the barrier islands, Lime Key. I wouldn't, first of all, them boats, they're not sitting too high above the ocean. You ever seen a boat and the water is like right here with you? And the guy is standing on the back. Yeah, man, we're good. And I'm like, I feel like I'm in the ocean, actually. Thank you. And then when you get to Lime Key, the only time I really think you should go to Lime Key, no, I guess we had a good time. It was a small group of us, is a party weekend. But what they don't tell you about Lime Key is because they have parties on this barrier island, and the only way, obviously, to get there is the boat, there's a lot of debris in the water. So like broken glass and stuff. When I did a little snorkel, I'm like, damn, there's beer bottle shards in the ocean right now. So it made me, I was like, I'm gonna lay on this beach. Y'all can go out there and swim. It's very deep and it's ocean. Like it's not beach. Like just a few, you are in the ocean. There are hammerheads, there are actual ocean creatures because it's ocean. And the Jamaican saying would be like, this a beach, that a ocean. This is not beach. Lime Key, around it is ocean. You get what I'm saying? It's not beach. So when I went there, I was like, I enjoyed it just to say I've gone there, but it felt like I like a tsunami could come and just take me away. It was like in the ocean. And it's not that big, and parts of it, I'm telling you, is deep blue. I was like, God, I couldn't even swim if I need to do something. So not to scare anybody, but I was like, nope, I've done this already. Thanks, guys. There's Port Royal. Thank you. Hey, Miss Creative, nice to see you. Yes, it's a fort. The word I was thinking was citadel, but yes, it's a fort. Thank you. Couldn't think of it. Yes, so it was like huge. It's almost like a half Coliseum where there's still cannons and you can still see it. Parts of it are still there, but the majority of the city is underwater. Port Royal. So it's very interesting history. Yes, their house. They're 45-degree Anna. But yes, I don't want to keep y'all too late. But yes, I took a boat to the Carnival ship because the ship almost left me. Yeah, it's ocean. It's ocean. Like you can't play. It's not like doggy paddle to the no. There's sharks. The real ocean. You've gone into the ocean. It's not the beach. So when we went out there, I was like, bruh, I can't swim that well. Probably won't do this again, but I love the history. It reminded me of some citadels, some forts I had visited in like South Africa and things. It was very beautiful as far as I'm a big history buff, as you can tell.
Yeah, but it seems like Jamaicans, like I guess after living on like the island for so long, they could swim. Because when we were out there, everybody could just swim like it was nothing. I could swim, but I can't swim.
Listen, and I would beg to differ. There's a lot of Jamaicans that cannot swim, really? At least the older ones.
Okay, maybe it's the people working on the boat. Man, I'm like, they just jump in like it ain't nothing.
Now the ones who can swim.
Mm,
They like those boys that jump off the Negril cliff at Rick's Cafe, and it's like, wow, it's a poetry in motion. But
mm,
yeah, my dad can't swim. My dad has stories about, getting pushed into the ocean and they're drowning and
mm.
like being dragged out and then standing on a sandbar and
Oh my.
things like this. So it happens too. My mom can't swim. Yeah, a lot of my family cannot swim.
Mm.
But yeah, there's so many other wonderful little hidden gems off the beaten path that I hope I get a chance next time to go and explore. I think I might take a driving lesson the next time I'm down, just so
Mm.
I'm comfortable. We have family with hookups with people who will rent you cars, cheaper than the Hertz, and those places are arm and a leg. I would never. My dad was telling me what the bill was, and I was like, bruh, no, never again, because those are not corporate. Those are local people with their own charges. So
Mm.
yeah, it is yeah, I want to take a driver's lesson, but then I'm like, I'm gonna hurt myself. Like these people are crazy.
They drive down there. I'm telling, and they wait until the last second too. Like it could be a truck
Come
coming.
over on you. They're the car right behind you, and they go
Yep.
around you to beat the light. And it
Right.
was like what I was going just now, so I don't know where you were
Right.
going. So yeah, it's an aggressive driving culture. I don't think anyone takes a driving class. I think a lot of people, well, maybe some people do, but I
Right.
just think people just get in a car, yeah,
Go.
and just go. And whether they're literate, illiterate, whatever, they just go. Yes, Kareem, I agree. Nah, I cannot swim. I almost drowned twice. This is not. Yeah, yeah, there definitely yes, there were sharks close by when you go to some of these barrier islands. I'm like, no, 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 no. This is not, this is ocean. I can't swim in the ocean. Yes, no way, no better
People
than
think
yeah.
that's cool when the sharks out there. I remember I was swimming. There's a tropical storm, and like we were in the Bahamas, and I got out the boat, and then next thing you know, I'm like 20 feet away from the boat, and then like everybody talking about like, oh, it's cool, it's a shark, man. I never swam so fast in my life, man. I was like, a shark, like out here trying to play with them.
If you look, no, where we were
No,
in
no,
the yeah, in the hotel, you could clearly distinguish where the beach end and where there's ocean.
right,
And they dump it up, they make it nice and shallow. You could almost walk like hundreds of feet out, but you can tell when those swells change. And even at the hotel, there were stingrays. Like we could see a
mm-hmm.
couple stingrays, and I was like, see, not today, not today
Mm-mm.
at all. And
Mm-mm.
certain things, nobody was afraid, but I really stayed on like the kiddie side. I don't need to prove anything.
Right,
I will walk into the small lagoon and go to the little middle island that y'all built up, sit on that beach chair and be fine. But
right.
yeah, some people like to be daring. Like I said, even going out to Harmony Park was like a big deal for me because I was like, is there, are y'all real life? That's another thing. Everybody got on a shirt that say life vest or lifeguard and tour guide. And I'm like, are y'all real lifeguards? And they're like, can you swim? I'm like, I'm not gonna drown. But when we went out to Harmony Park, your feet definitely don't touch the ground after the first few feet. You're in
Wow.
ocean. So like at the end, I mean, everyone had on a life vest. Thank God. I was like, no, put mine on tight because I'm not going to be drowning out here for y'all. And it was like, it actually, I was impressed by my upper body strength climbing up the the float. It was almost like an obstacle course. It was like, oh, okay, you got to get out the ocean on your own. Okay, let me try to
Get those rub downs.
yeah, exactly. But overall, y'all, it was actually wonderful to be around again. Just positivity, lightheartedness, no stress. I tried to open my laptop the last day. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna
Wow,
do it. I'm gonna do it. No, I'm not gonna do it. So came back to a deluge of email. Tired today, worked. I was like, okay, like I probably had 10 meetings today. I was like, oh my gosh, I had to catch up on so many things. But God is good. I'm not complaining at all. I just need to shake off the cobwebs. I have a somewhat of a lineup for the rest of the month, but I got to get myself organized.
right. And then you're gonna be on my show too. What time we doing it?
Yes, we going whenever we gonna do it. You let me know. I'll be happy to be on there
Right.
and return this beautiful favor.
Mhm.
But yes, I want to be probably next week. You just tell
Okay.
me once I find out my trainings.
I think we were talking about next Wednesday at
Yeah.
7 Eastern.
Yeah, I think so. I think because I have
Do it
my
later.
continuing education. Yeah, I have it on for the 17th too. So yeah,
Okay.
I have continuing education classes I must do.
Okay.
So I've got to work around that and figure out what I'm doing. But
Yeah, if later
yay,
time
guys.
works with you, then just let me know. We can push it back to later. Just let me know. We can
No,
make it
you know it's probably gonna be later. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I
happen.
put now like 7 o'clock may not work as much as like maybe 8 for
Okay,
me.
we'll call it 8 then.
Yeah, so yes, we are hustling. Yes, no, I didn't go to Blue Lagoon. There's so many other places I needed to go to, y'all. Yes, Andre says I had to ask what is the necklace everyone is trying to sell me when they said it was a shark's tooth. Yeah, shark's tooth is very popular all of a sudden.
Mhm.
Um, I did go to a farm.
Mm.
I got some pictures of the farm. The holy grail of farms. So I that was very interesting. Almost ooh, I did not catch it on film. I fell, y'all. I didn't fall. So again, in these steep mountainsides, when you go up in the countryside, ain't no joke. And I honestly need to just keep doing stadiums right now because I was so challenged. They're older men. I'm talking about this one guy. God bless him. He's probably like 95, 96. The steep hill his house is on the mountainside, we call them hills, but mountains, is so steep. And he goes up like 4 and 5 times. And when I went down to visit him, it's like my grandpa's neighbor, and came back up, I'm like, I'm saying my heart racing. My cousin Pete was like, yo, you feel that? I'm like, my dad had to sit down. We all had to sit at the top of the, like when we get back even with the road, we all
Mhm.
had to sit down. And it was like so steep. So I go up to the high portion where there's a secret garden. So I go there, and on the way up, I'm telling you, we puffing and puffing. We're like,
Mhm.
altitude and whatnot. On my way down, I was walking behind my cousin, and it was three of us like holding shoulders, guy, girl, girl. And I'm like, don't go down, don't go down. And we get past like the real rocky hard part. And then all of a sudden, I'm talking about my 1 foot. You ever feel that 1 foot go like slide on a rock? And I just
Mhm.
laid back almost in like a half split. It was the best, smoothest
Mhm.
fall you will ever see. And I was videoing for y'all. I was videoing while it happened, but it cut. Y'all can't see my full recline into outer space, but it was my cousins were laughing at me. It was so terrible, but it was a slow motion. Thankfully, I wasn't hurt. But yeah, so many adventures. And like I said, I'm gonna do a part 2 Saturday to get everybody up to speed. Real quick, can you plug your channel
Oh
one more
yeah,
time?
yeah.
Thank you again for
Yeah,
hosting.
for sure. No problem. My channel is called The Key to Success. So thank you, Suzette, for the opportunity to come on here and host your show and on your first show back. So I definitely appreciate you. Anybody that's interested in learning more about like our system of education here in America, I know it's a lot of y'all from Jamaica down here will have like Jamaican heritage. But up here, like on my channel, like we try to break down education and make it fun and engaging and just easier to understand for people, because a lot of people have like this misconception about what we're doing and like they have these ideas. But I want to make sure like that people just kind of just have like a fresher understanding of what we're doing. So we cover all kinds of topics about education, and then also we're going to talk about with Suzette next week. We're going to talk about law school. So anything for me is education. I think of education as like K through life. So you could, it just at any point, it's never too late to just learn more and just to continue to grow. So that's sort of my thing on the channel.
Yay, y'all go subscribe. He's doing great work over there. And I appreciate you again, my brother, as we sign off for coming through, helping me tonight to get me energized. This was supposed to be his night. And I was like, hey, can you allow me to share a few thoughts about my trip? And he was like, yeah, why not? I thought we were going to be
Yeah,
talking education. But
right.
I love this type of format as well. So I may ask others for their guest hosting services. And again, the vacay secrets continue this Saturday, 12 noon. Go support my brother who did an excellent job tonight, Mr. Terrell Key. And I
Thank
appreciate all of y'all watching. I'm back. Thank you so much for your support. And I'll see you Saturday. All right. Y'all take care of yourselves. Thank you again for watching.